Hello friends, welcome back to my blind playthrough of Planescape Torment. This is episode 14, and we are still here at the Smoldering Corpse Bar, but we are about to leave, hopefully. First of all though, I'm going to check in with my companions, because it's been a while since since I've started traveling with Morte, and I don't think I've really asked him how he's doing since. And Dakon we only just met, but I think there's no harm in checking in with him too. But actually, even before that, let's go into my inventory and make sure that I have proper weapons equipped, because yeah, thank you to whoever commented that the reason why I'm suddenly not landing any hits is because I'm using the wrong weapon. I'm using a weapon with crushing damage, which I have no proficiency in, which is of course correct, and I'm an idiot for not realizing that. So let's switch back to the knife, was it? As we have, yeah, weapon proficiencies with fists or an edged weapon, which I assume is what a knife is in any sane universe. Yeah, edged. Okay. So the rest of these weapons that we have are all crushing weapons, so I guess we'll just keep them equipped just so they don't take up slots here. But yeah, let's not use them unless we have a really good reason to. We also have the rusty dagger that's 1-3 piercing, and this one is 1-3 slashing. Fragile and breakable. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just keep the jagged knife. It seemed to serve me well enough before I suddenly unequipped it for whatever reason. Anyway, let's talk to Morte. How do I do that? Dialogue, Morte, right? Morte, how are you doing?
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
What's eating you, Chief? Yep. Can you tell me... Oh, I actually have a lot of things to say to him. Can you read to me what's tattooed on my back again? Because I honestly forgot. Oh, come on, Chief. Don't tell me you forgot again. It's me, okay? I forgot again. I just need to refresh my memory, is what's happening. I bet I'm gonna be hearing that a lot. Morte clears his throat. Let's see. I know you feel like you've been drinking a few kegs of Styx Wash, but you need to center yourself. Among your possessions is a journal that'll shed some light on the dark of the matter. Farad can fill you in on the rest of the chant if he's not in the dead book already. Alright. Yeah, chant, actually. In the last episode I was wondering whether chant is a slang term that I've seen before, and obviously it is. I saw it right at the beginning of the game. So, center yourself. I feel like I don't really understand what that means. I mean, I guess I do, but I'm kind of expecting there to be some special meaning to that, and maybe it's just not there. Maybe it's just what I think it means on the face of it. A journal and Farad. Right. Farad, keep going. I will. Hold on. Morte pauses for a moment. Alright, here's the last bit. Don't lose the journal or we'll be up to Styx again. And whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you. Read the journal, then find Farad. Okay, this is actually super interesting. I forgot all of this, obviously. How could I not have? I mean, I've been playing this game for 13 hours, and I've seen so much and talked to so many people. But this is key. This is something I really should remember. I can't tell anyone who I am or what happens to me. Hang on. I can't tell anyone who I am, but what happens to me? Do they mean the fact that I get resurrected periodically, or just not periodically, but multiple times? Could be. Quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. How would that help? I guess they would just turn me into like an undead servant? Maybe not. I'm blabbering. Read the journal, then find Farad. Interesting, because I kind of gained the impression that to read the journal, I will first have to find it, and Farad seems to be the one who has it. But maybe not. And there wasn't a journal with me when I woke up. No, you were stripped to the skins. Like I said before, looks like you got enough of a journal penned on your body. Okay, and you're sure you don't know anyone named Farad? Nope. Still, Sunberg's got to know where to find him. Let's ask some of the locals. Alright, I have some other questions. Can you tell me a little about Sigil? I feel like we know much more than we did when we first met him, but there we go. Sigil's a ring-shaped city that's squatting on top of an infinitely tall spire in what some claim to be in the center of the plains. Of course, how it could be at the top of an infinitely tall spire, and how the city could even be at the center of the plains, raises some questions. It sure does, but I feel like some of the people we've met would know a lot about that. It's just, I've asked them, and I honestly don't understand how this could be any more than before. Anything else? Sigil's called the City of Doors, mostly because there's a lot of invisible doors that lead in and out of it. Just about any arch, door frame, barrel hoop, bookshelf, or open window might be a portal under the right conditions. Okay, let's stop speaking about the keys because I've heard that 1,000 times before. I feel like if there's one thing I know about Sigil, it's that it's the City of Doors. And what these doors look like, and, you know. Morte, I don't mind you tagging along, but is there anything else you can do except chatter? I think we said this to him once before, maybe. Hey, chattering's my best trait. He rattles his teeth for a moment, then grins. Eh? Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, but seriously, Chief, I got a knack for chattering in just the right way. I can really bend an ear if you know what I'm saying. I got insults, backtalk, stuff that'll curl someone's ears into their skull, you know? Okay, I guess I can see how that would be useful, but I don't think it's worth the benefit it could potentially bring, right? I feel like the costs far outweigh the benefits. How's that useful? It's one of my many talents. I call it my litany of curses. You see, sometimes I can really bend someone's ear with just the right comment. Of course, then I usually have to do a lot of running afterwards, but you get the idea. Here's a philosophical question for you. Is it still running if he doesn't have any legs? How does it work?
Updated my journal.
Oh. Wait. Okay, so sorry. I thought we were just going over old dialogue, and I was gonna comment on how it's probably boring to watch me read the same dialogue again, but and that I'm not gonna do this for every character in the game, obviously, but I feel like I should for the companions because they're super important to me. But it turns out that we probably never asked this particular thing before. Well, I can spit insults at someone until they get mad enough to chase me around. Morte has an ability called Litany of Curses. It is a non-magical taunt. If the target fails to resist it, they suffer a penalty to their armor class, attacks, and will do nothing but try to engage Morte in melee combat. Note that the more insults Morte hears, the better his Litany of Curses becomes. The Litany of Curses is very effective against mages. Hang on, the more insults Morte hears. How can I make sure he hears as many as possible? Am I supposed to choose like insulting dialogue options, or what's the deal with that? That would be a lot of fun. Not the way I tend to play, but I could do it sometimes just for the fun of it. The Litany of Curses is very effective against mages. That might prove useful, but let's ask some other questions first. Oh, this is a nice one. This definitely has to do with main story progression, right? Which I kind of know what to do at this point, but let's ask him anyway. I could use some advice. What do you think we should do next? Well, here's how I see things. I think you should try and root out this Farad, wherever he's set up Kip. You wouldn't have had those directions tattooed on your back if you didn't have some inkling of what was up with you. One of the locals around here has to know where he is. Good point, good point. You said you're a mimer, right, Morte? Yeah, he did say something like that. Yeah, a mimer's a floating encyclopedia. You put information in, you get information out. Right. Right. It's all coming back to me now. And how did you die, Morte? No idea, Chief. I kind of forgot when I died. Can't say I blame myself much. At least there was something waiting for me after I died, and even if it is a life as a floating skull, I mean, it could have been worse. What happened to your body? I don't know, alright? It's just gone. Morte glares at you. But don't think I miss it just because I'm happy just the way I am, and I don't need your half-wit judgments or snide remarks, alright? I'm sure you are. That wasn't defensive at all. Okay, shake a leg. That's a funny thing to say to him. Morte glares at you. I'm not convinced you aren't some sort of walking curse that's destined to follow me around. Look who's talking. Let's go. Alright, that was fun. I feel like we asked him most of those things at some point before, but it was still a good idea to do this. And, Dakon?
What is your will?
Dakon turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. His blade mirrors his eyes for a moment as you address him, then he nods. What is your will? There are things I would know, Dakon. I will hear you. And, I don't know, these feel like the things that I asked him when I met him, right? Can I talk to you about your teachings? I think I asked him all of this before, so we'll save it for later. What I want to do now is also get in the head of my characters to kind of understand their abilities a little bit better. So Morte has got this bite, which I knew. He's also got this litany thing, apparently. Special ability, Litany of Curses. How does that work? I mean, can I test it out? Is it just gonna waste it? Oh, hang on. Right, I can read the description. That will probably be useful. Range 50 feet, duration 10 seconds per level. Area of effect 1 creature, non-undead. That's pretty limited, 1 creature, but that's fine. Morte can draw upon his repertoire of insults to taunt an opponent into lowering his guard and attacking. The target suffers penalties to hit and damage when enraged. This spell cannot target undead creatures. Okay, that makes sense, actually. Magic resistance does not affect this spell. The target does get a saving throw versus spells to resist the effect, however. While the target is taunted, the target suffers a -2 to hit and a -2 to AC and a -2 to damage, as long as the Litany of Curses is in effect. This special ability can only be used by Morte. This sounds like one of those cool abilities which I'm never gonna remember to use, because I honestly suck at using all of my tools in games. I'm the worst at this. One of my ambitions as a gamer is to overcome this weakness and start using all my tools. And then we have Dakon, so let's see. Ooh, some interesting items here. That's right, I can check his sword. Now that he's my companion, I can check everything. So, Dakon's Xerth Blade. 2 to 9 slashing. Holy shit, that's so much. That's gonna be such a big help. +1 to armor class, Thaco +1, which is actually bad, right? Because it's Thaco, so you want to go low. Speed 7, weight 5. Is speed with speed is higher better or is lower better? I'm sure I'll find out. Usable only by Dakon. Okay, that makes sense. On the Githzerai's home plane of Limbo, solid matter is something of a rarity. Limbo itself is a soupy mass of elements, and only through force of will can the Githzerai shape these elements into stable matter. A substance called Karak is a material that can be shaped with the mind. Dakon's blade is composed of this substance. Through mental discipline alone, Dakon maintains the integrity of the blade. He can shape it slightly depending on his skill, adjusting its length, sharpness of the edge. Presumably, as he gains levels, he may be able to manipulate the blade in new ways. Interesting. It is not known whether all Githzerai Xerth carry such weapons. Certainly a weapon that depends on the integrity of the wielder would be entrusted only to those who had learned to discipline themselves. This blade appears to have special religious significance for Dakon. Dakon has wound a series of parchments around the hilt of the blade. These appear to be mantras dedicated to Zerthimon. Dakon is definitely one of those companions who just has one weapon for the entirety of the game, right? Because there is no point giving him anything else, especially if the weapon will keep getting better as he levels up. He must be highly esteemed among the Githzerai, or he must be in high standing, you know? I feel like he must be quite an important person in their community. I mean, I don't know anything about them. And they mentioned, you know, it's not known whether all Githzerai Zerth carry these weapons. So he's a Zerth, and he's a Githzerai. So it could be that it's common, or it could be that this blade is one of a kind, really. I mean, presumably not, since they make more things of this Karak, right? But it's a fun thing to think about. Then we have a Whispering Flask, which is a consumable, apparently. Invokes Aid, usable only by Githzerai. This container holds a peculiar powder called Whispering Motes, loose translation of the Gith expression. Yes, I always love it when media take the time to acknowledge that the translation between languages is not a one-to-one thing, right? Because meanings don't correspond one-to-one to each other. By the way, I have a degree in translation, in case you don't know, so that's why I'm kind of invested in this. Loose translation of the Gith expression, a form of healing powder commonly used by the Githzerai on the plane of Limbo. When the stopper is pulled and the spice touched on the skin of a wounded person, the spice travels through the injured person's body, generating raw matter to fill up the holes in his physical form, no matter how small or large. Wow, it's... I'm having difficulty picturing this. Spice touched on the skin, travels through the body. Okay. In order for the spice to work, the user must concentrate on its healing effects. With the proper discipline, a practiced Githzerai can even heal the greatest of wounds. In addition to its curative properties, it is also the element in several of their rites of passage. They have various rites of passage. Interesting. It is believed that the spice also fills in the holes in a person's psyche, removing doubts and giving them focus and purpose. And it does +2 to strength, but I don't know, based on the last sentence, I would expect it to do +2 to willpower or something. Actually, what are the stats in this game? Let me refresh myself, kind of. Intelligence, wisdom, dexterity. Okay, we actually don't have any willpower or anything like that. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, by the way, the stat screen, that's actually good to see for my companions as well. Proficiencies, number of attacks 1. Hang on, so can I become so good at attacking people that I do basically 2 attacks for the price of 1? That sounds OP. Lore 9, and I have 7. Okay, so if I need to identify anything, Dakon is the person to ask. Makes sense, you know, he is kind of obsessed with knowledge, so he would know a lot of things. Saving throws, edged weapon 2, okay. Yeah, that's for the sword. And then Morte's stats are... he's getting close to his next level, whereas Dakon is not, and I am really not either. So this doesn't seem to be one of those games where the leveling for your entire party works pretty much the same, so that all your characters level up at almost the same time each time. This doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway, Dakon's weapon, right? I mean, item. The Unbroken Circle of Zerthimon. This small round stone is the Unbroken Circle of Zerthimon. The Unbroken Circle is a Zerth religious text containing teachings of Zerthimon, the founder of the Githzerai people. The circle is made up of a series of interlocking circles that fold out from one another, depending on which branch the reader wishes to follow in the path of teachings. I'm sorry, that is so unbelievably cool. I want an item like that. That just sounds... How do they come up with this stuff? It is said that some Zerths spend years poring over the combinations of the plates, looking for new significance in the teachings. Man, I love myself a good lore master sort of faction, or lore master character, or just anyone who's obsessed with lore. That's the kind of character I like to play in games as well, which is a bit meta, I suppose, but it's fun. Dakon seems to use the text as a means of focusing his spellcasting abilities, for he pores over the tablet occasionally, memorizing the words. Okay. If I use it though, is that going to consume it, or is it going to stay with him? You know, does he use it by just poring over it, as the game puts it, and it's staying in his inventory? Not sure. And he also has a Zerth armor. Armor class 5, weight 25. That sounds like quite a lot. I don't think we've seen anything with that much weight before. Dakon's ceremonial Zerth armor. It is fashioned of interlocking metal rings formed of the same substance that Dakon's blade is made of. Unlike the blade, however, it does not appear that the armor changes based on the mental state of the wielder. The armor is worn over a padded red tunic, and spike bracers and shoulder pads have been added to give greater protection to the arms and upper body. While Dakon's armor is similar to chainmail, it is lighter and more flexible, allowing him to wield his sword more effectively. Furthermore, it seems that when the sword and armor are used in tandem, the armor becomes even more fluid. Whether this is a unique property of Karak, or whether this is some magical effect of the two items, is unknown. Cool. Okay, so let's also get something done this episode. It's been 20 minutes of me just reading and talking. Risco, Mage Spellbook. Sorry, I'm just memorizing the different options in the HUD because I still don't feel like I've got enough of a grasp of them. There's a combat log, which I don't think I've seen before. Interesting. Anyway, so let's select all my characters. How do I... Yeah, there's the button for that. And let's walk out of Smoldering Corpse Bar, because we are in the... Oh, God. Okay, looks like we get to test, put to test our new companion and his combat abilities. Okay, this seems to be going pretty well. There we go. 3 thugs are dead just like that. My inventory is full though, so maybe I can do this. Yes, I can. I can. Actually, how can I transfer items between myself and my companions? I think the only way I can do it... Stop shouting, someone. I think the only way to do this is to put them on the ground and then picking them up as someone else, right? Yeah. That's not the most convenient, unfortunately. Okay, maybe let's lower the volume of the sound effects. That would be this one, right? It's really only the voice that I want to be up at all times, you know? And movie, I suppose.
Done.
Alright, so what I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted was that I'm in this area which I have barely started exploring, right? I'm in the southeastern portion of the hive, I suppose, or something like that. We have Quatra's warehouse, southwestern portion of the hive. Okay, let's walk around this place first. Let's make the rounds here, and then we'll see. We have some angry hive dwellers, harlots, drunks. Lots of angry hive dwellers in this part of the world. Actually, what part of the world is it? We are in the hive, unsurprisingly. It doesn't have a name more specific than that. Ooh, there's this handy show walkable button too, which I think I'll keep off for now, but like I said, it might be handy in some situations. Let's just... Oh, there's a black Abishai walking down the street. Let's just talk to some of the hive dwellers, maybe. I can't stand the thought of raising me child here. Maybe one day me family can leave this awful place. Charming. Let's talk to the local drunk. This man sways unsteadily back and forth, catches his balance for a moment, then manages a sickly twisted smile at something just past your right ear. Greetings. He nods slowly, then manages a phlegm-filled gurgle, and a small green-colored trail of drool begins to drip from the side of his mouth, running down into his scruffy, dirt-caked beard. You know how I said I love the visual descriptions of this game? This is one of those times when I don't really like it all that much. He looks like he's barely able to stand up, much less carry on a conversation. Okay, farewell, my good sir. Enjoy your spit. And we have a named character. We have July. Hello? You see a thin man with stained clothes, a hooked nose, and two stubby horns jutting from his forehead. He is stumbling about and muttering to himself. He stinks of brine, vomit, and cheap wine. Greetings, my good sir. Eh? The man squints blearily at you. What is it? What? Never mind, sorry to bother you. Okay, why is he named then? I guess he's gonna be part of a quest, which I haven't picked up yet. He's definitely no random drunk, but he is a drunk. So many harlots in this place. You see a tired-looking woman dressed in a tight leather bodice and leggings. The odor of cheap perfume surrounds her like a cloud, and her face is covered with a mask of crude makeup. She smiles as she sees you. Why don't you stay and chat with me a bit, love? Hello. The woman looks coyly at you. Now you look to be a blood who's lost something. Mayhap I can help you find it, Cutter. She smiles slightly. She's putting the same moves on me as the other harlot up there. Not today, thanks. Here, lass. When you get tired of losing things and need to find some things, love, you come see me. Sure I will. This is not enterable, it seems. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss a place I can enter. But then again, the map seems to do a pretty good job of marking these entrances for me. Fel's Tattoo Parlor. Hang on, Tattoo Parlor. I have these strange tattoos on my body. Maybe he could, or she could, help me identify something about them, right? Hive flags. I'm just waiting for them to attack me. But we have Barking Wilder here first. Okay, let's talk to this person before we get attacked. This wild-eyed man is hunched over, snarling and giving low growls. It looks like he hasn't trimmed his hair in years. It's so long it forms a veil over his eyes. He has a long, stringy mustache caked with grease and sweat, and the tips of the mustache droop so much that they have become tangled in his ragged beard. Ugh. And I have the option to growl at him? Okay. I mean, I'm gonna try to communicate with him like a civilized being before I stoop to growling. The man stops in mid-snarl, and he reaches up to part the curtain of hair that cover his eyes. As his withered hand pulls away his dirty locks, several strange puke-colored, I've never seen that word, bugs fall from his hair and scatter across the cobbles. Behind the cloak of hair, the man's flesh is moon-pale and creased with wrinkles. His thick, bushy eyebrows form a V as he stares at you. Hand might take the moonlight too? I have no idea what voice to even read that in. I'm not even gonna try here. Okay. Wow. So many dialogue options, and I understand so little of them. Take your hand and fly to the moon? Not today, my friend. Actually, I have the option to... Okay, that's just goodbye. Yeah, okay, let's do... Tilt your head to one side as if studying him. The man frowns, but his eyebrows tilt upward in a reverse V, creating a bizarre expression. You have no idea how he accomplished the facial expression, but it makes you uncomfortable watching the muscles beneath his face shift into the new pattern. You can't tell whether he's angry, curious, both, or neither. Sink speak a man, answers prefer a woman heart. Wow, okay. This dialogue option is suspiciously long, because I did not pick up all this information from that. A single kiss speaks a woman's heart, but a man's answer is what you would prefer. Very well then, but know this, my answer is a question and an answer from you is what I would prefer. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm smart enough to figure that one out. I'm just gonna say, not today, I had some questions. The man throws back his head and howls. It is such a terrible sound that you are forced to cover your ears. Even that isn't enough. As you cover your ears, the howl seems to grow into a shrieking, drilling into your head, slipping inside your ears, burrowing beneath the skin, then crawling along the inside of your skull and eating the shreds of your sanity. The sound is so unbearable you can't even muster the strength to speak. This guy seems to have like some special screaming powers. Do you have the power of the voice from Skyrim, or what is that, dude? Let's leave the man be for now. Well, that's a tree with one snap branch too many. Morte rolls his eyes. No sense in chatting with Zausitects. Zausitects, chief. They're a barmy bunch. Zausitects? They're a faction who don't have any rules, except don't keep one thought in their head for too long. They're sometimes called Chaos Men. No need to explain why. Well, interesting. Chaos Men? Zausitects, I think? Is that how it was spelled? Yep. How do they get... Okay, let's pause here. What kind of faction is that? No rules. So they are like the embodiment of the concept of chaos, of the alignment of chaos. I suppose a faction like that would have to be pretty chaotic, but yeah, this is just to the point of not even being intelligible by a normal person like myself. So let's inquire more into the faction, because they intrigue me. How do they get members? They just seem to attract members like flies. Well, members that are crazy or chaotic enough, I suppose. I don't think they have any recruiters, though you really can't say anything about them for sure. I see. Thanks for the info, Morte. Okay. I stepped away from the game to take a drink.
What's the hold up?
And I did an oopsie. I didn't pause the game. And I guess I must have gotten killed. So I'm back at the mortuary, apparently. Getting killed doesn't really destroy any of the items I had, right? So it doesn't matter, but well, that happened. So I guess I gotta find my way out again.
All right.
Mortuary first floor sounds pretty promising. It's been a while since I've been in this place. And we're back at the Hive. Well, sorry for that interruption. I promise I'll try to remember to pause the game next time, but honestly, won't say that that's gonna happen, because it's just one of my bad habits. Do not do that. Just step away like that, and all of a sudden we have a situation on our hands. But fortunately, we weren't too far, right? We can just get back to, yes, the southeastern portion of the Hive. That really doesn't look like a passage from this angle. And we are back where we were. we can go right back to exploring. So, a damsel in distress. I beg of you, help, please. That looks so suspicious. Especially because she's called a damsel in distress, right? But she's running around, okay. Maybe she isn't trying to attract, draw me into like an ambush or anything like that. You see a pretty young woman. Oh no, she definitely is. Her hair is in disarray and the bodice of her dress is torn. She looks about in desperation and then notices you. Greetings. She runs up to you and grabs your arm. You notice the front of her dress is stained with blood. Help me, Cutter, please. They're killing my sister. She begins to tug on your arm. Who? She looks around wildly. This drunken man who followed us from one of the taverns. We thought he meant no harm. Please, Cutter, there is no more time. Help us. Man, this is so sketchy. She's obviously trying to lure us into a trap. Wait, first you said they were killing your sister, and now you say he is killing her? So which is it then? She stares at you, unsure of what to say. I'm distraught. I made a mistake. She glances at the blood that stains her dress. Please help me, Cutter. Yes, let's examine the blood on her dress. This is so fake. You glance down at her dress and look at the blood. Although it does appear to be real, it has completely dried. It must be hours old. That blood is hours old. What are you up to? You see her eyes flick to the bloodstains and then back to you. You think you can hear a hint of nervousness in her voice. You are mistaken, Cutter. Please help me. My sister lies dying while we tarry. Okay, I'm gonna bluff here. I don't necessarily want to kill her. Although she would probably deserve it, depending on, you know, what she's doing or what she's doing this for, rather. 500 XP for threatening a lady. There we go. She looks into your eyes and then glances at the scars that cover your body. She swallows nervously, and you see her pale before your eyes. I'm supposed to lure people into an alley nearby. They're waiting there to take your jink. She looks at you apprehensively. Well, too bad for them. I have no jink to speak of anyway. Let me give you some advice, okay? Young lady. She gazes at you in silence, then nods her head. Don't pick someone like me as your mark. Choose some drunken fop who looks like he's never seen a battle in his life. That's the only option I get. My advice would be stop doing this shit. Just get away. Just don't do this anymore. Which I guess is easier said than done, to be honest. She nods once, curtly. And make sure he looks like he has more than a couple of coins to his name. Now get out of here. She nods curtly and then backs away from you. She hesitates for a moment and turns to leave. Thank you, Cutter. She sprints off. Well, that happened. I cannot save it this time, apparently. Am I getting attacked, or why can't I save? I'm nervous when I can't save for too long, you know? That was a fun short quest. In an alley nearby, though, what if we find these thugs who were going to ambush us on our own? Can we? Can we even do that? I mean. I can't really promise that I'm even going to realize that it was them if I actually stumble onto them. Because there are so many thugs around here. What is this? This ash-covered tree looks like it has suffered greatly since being transplanted here. Same thing, looks like? Yes. And we have some starved dog barking thugs. Hang on, starved dog, huh? We've heard that name before. That guy was pretty powerful. He almost killed the Khan. Can we do anything to help him? I mean, I mean, we definitely can, but like,
I'm gone.
let's maybe not bring him into the fight for once. Hang on, where's the... Let's try to kill this guy just with the two of us. This is not going well, is it?
I'm hurt.
Okay. It's time to get out of here. I don't feel like this is the time to use our consumables, you know? It doesn't really make sense to do that just here on the street. Why are there so many thugs all of a sudden? I mean, there were always this many thugs, but... I don't know. There are more of them than harlots here. Which didn't used to be the case, I don't think. Okay, let's quickly run into some building because we need to get away from here. Of course I ran into the locked door. What you first took to be a door in this archway is actually a painting. The artist has made use of the shadows of the overhanging arch and some subtle texturing effects to give the door the illusion of substance. Okay, that's quite accomplished artistry. I'll give you that, Mr. Artist. Examine the door as I'm being chased by thugs. Other than the skill of the artist, there is nothing remarkable about the painting. The door has been painted on a rough stone wall. You can feel the stone and mortar beneath the painted wooden texture. Okay, I'll leave the door alone and try to get away so that these guys leave me alone because... Oh my god, there's so many of them! What the hell? I'm not even taking in the inscriptions here. Why is everyone attacking me all of a sudden? What just happened? I guess they figure that I'm an easy target, right? Now that my health is down. Okay, maybe I'll just back out of this place because this part of the hive really doesn't seem to be working out for us. The smoldering corpse bar was good and all, but now we're just asking to get killed. Looks like this place leads to the southwestern portion of the hive, which I don't know, maybe it's time to head to old Mebeth's place to rest, just so I don't get killed. Then again, getting killed doesn't really matter all that much in this game, so I guess I'll just try to stay safe, try and be careful, but I'm not going to interrupt my program due to that. This looks like an entrance, but there is no handle or means of opening it. Okay, so we have Davis is here. Githzerai Townsperson. I don't think I've seen one of those, did I? Hello, Mr. Gith. Can I talk to you? This Gith turns to face you as you approach. Like the Khan, he has a yellow cast to his skin and a gaunt frame. His clothing is a curious blend of sharp colors and dull, mud-stained browns. The Gith's dead black eyes flicker over the Khan, then you. You know, I feel like it's good to speak to these people when I have the Khan on my side. They might be willing... They might be willing to talk to a friend of a fellow Githzerai. Greetings. The man ignores you and turns to the Khan instead. He speaks several clipped words in a low tongue which you can't understand. Maybe he doesn't approve of Dagon hanging out with us. His expression doesn't change as he speaks, nor does he make any hand motions, so you can't even hazard a guess at what he's saying. Dagon replies with an arrow flight of words in the same tongue, and the Githzerai falls silent. It's kind of fun to try to imagine what this language could sound like based on these descriptions. Arrow flight of words. What's he saying, Dagon? The Githzerai turns to you as you speak, then turns back to Dagon and speaks again, this time at great length. Dagon replies. It sounds like the same arrow flight of words as before. The Githzerai falls silent again. Dagon says something else, and the Githzerai responds with another lengthy stream of words. Okay, don't mind me, guys. I'm not here. You just have your chat. Could you ask him some questions for me, though? Dagon turns to the Githzerai and speaks, this time at a slower, more measured pace than before. The Githzerai's reply is a short one. Well, what did he say? Your words are known to me. The Githzerai interrupts. Face me and speak your mind. I will hear you. Interesting. So I think this whole sequence was to show that maybe Githzerai just don't like to talk to other species, or at least people like myself. Maybe they just prefer to be very, not solitary, but maybe tribal. They just like hanging out with their own kind. That's what I'm reading this as. It could be that the conversation was about something else, but that's what it looks like to me. I had some questions. A chally drowning. I'm sorry? Your question is a stab in the dark. An arrow without direction. His forehead wrinkles. The answer to this question would fill the mind of an anarch. There is no time for such an answer. Tell me plainly what you wish known. He also puts an emphasis on the word known, so I assume this is just a Githzerai thing. This is not specifically a Dakon thing, not specifically a Zerth thing. It's, it could be a Zerth thing, I suppose, but, you know. The Lady of Pain, where the city is located, where I might find work, that's interesting. Can you tell me about the Lady of Pain? It is said she is the queen of this city. Her mind is not known to me. I have other specific questions about the city. Wow, and I have even more of them now. Can you tell me about the con? Interesting. Let's maybe start with the last thing though. Can you tell me what there is of interest around here? You are not known to me. What is interesting to you may not interest me. Fair enough. How about work? There is little work here. You can hunt rats for bounties. You can gather the dead. There are bounties on rats? The city pays for rat tails. Take them to one of the vermin control offices. Right, we knew that. And gathering the dead? Many die every night in this city. Take the dead to the men of dust. They will buy the body. You know, people keep saying that, but it doesn't really seem to be a game mechanic. I haven't seen any corpses around. Even when I kill someone, it's just a pile of goo, a pile of loot on the floor, which I can pick up, but not the body. Okay, I have some other questions, and this time let's make it an interesting one. Can you tell me about the con? He walks with you. His forehead creases. How is it he is not known to you? Okay, he walks with me, but only for a short while so far, you know? Could you maybe tell me something about him? He is not speechless. If you would know him, put the questions to him. Do not insult us both by treating one as a statue. I would say that you are right, but that's exactly what you did to me at the beginning of our conversation. So I don't really feel bad about that. I feel bad about doing it to Dakon, obviously. Can you tell me when their city is located? This city touches all places. Right, because it sits in the middle. What do you mean, though? This city is a cage with many doors. Oh yeah, that too. Each door touches another place. A cage, huh? I haven't heard that description before. It was always the city of doors. Any structure with locked doors is a cage. Okay. I've lost a journal. Have you seen one? That object is not known to me. And I accidentally quit the conversation, but I suppose it was fruitless anyway. Let's not go through the whole dialogue thing again. I doubt that he knows anything about Baird, really. We have Mayram, who looks kind of like old Mebeth, from what I remember. We have Creeden. Okay, we still have some new characters to meet. We have Ashmantle, who looks to be a dustman. Which one will go first? What is this? The symbol above this door identifies this as the Office of Vermin and Disease Control. Okay, So I have these are rat charms, but I also have cranium rat tails. And you're saying that I can turn these in at the office for jink, for money. All right, well, let's try and do that. Spiced ratsies, boiled ratsies. Does this guy sell rats? Get your ratsies here. This foul-looking man is quick to notice he's caught your attention. In moments he's upon you, hawking his wares. He carries a long wooden pole. Dozens of skinned and cooked rats dangle from it. As he speaks, he gestures to them with a broad, filth-encrusted hand, smiling a yellowed, snaggle-toothed grin all the while. Oi, Cutter, how you doing there? What sort of delicious ratsies is he interested in this fine day? None of them, actually. But let's examine the wares just to be polite. Each rat has been skinned and gutted, their feet and tails removed. As they dangle from the pole by hooks punched through their necks, they dangle, okay. As you examine the various manners in which they've been prepared, you realize their heads are slightly misshapen. A bulbous knot of bone protrudes from each cranium, covered in whorls. Another new word to me, I gotta look these up. In whorls that give it the appearance of brain tissue. Those are some strange-looking rats, my friend. Ah, you've got a keen eye there, Cutter. All I sell is brain vermin, I do. I'm sure you'll find they've got a much richer flavor than your usual rat. Quite nice, really. He proffers them to you once more, waving the pole before your face enticingly. The rats sway to and fro, hooked like tiny sides of beef. The ability of these writers to just write the most disgusting descriptions is absolutely stunning. 10 out of 10. Brain vermin. Aye, Cutter, brain vermin. Foul creatures they are. Now your normal rats, they just eat stored goods and multiply, spread disease and all that. A nuisance really, no more. Your cranium rat though, brain vermin, what I go after, they're just trouble. When you get more than a handful of the little pikers together, they start to get smart on you. Sometimes real smart. Yeah, that we've heard that already too, right? Yeah, actually, yeah. So they become more intelligent, is what you're saying. Sure as I'm standing here before you, they do. If I ran across any more than 2 of them, I'd flee from a case like that. He snaps to emphasize the point. I would. You get that many of them in a pack, why they get smart as a man they do. Oof, go on. Here's my best advice for you, Cutter. If you're bent on catching brain vermin, stick to small packs, a dozen or so at most. But I'll tell you. He steps close, his breath fetid in your face, and speaks in a hushed tone. You run into more than that, more than a couple of dozen. You run like you're in the shadow of the lady. He backs away from you again. Okay, what's gonna happen? Do they combine and turn into like a transformer robot, or what's gonna happen there? Sorcery, Cutter, sorcery. He gets enough of those little fiends in a space, they can gain all sorts of powers. Make a basher's brain pour out his ears, they will. Downright frightening. It's just wrong, I tell you. That's why Sigil's so eager to be rid of them. The bounty and all. Sigil? Aye, Sigil. The cage. What were you looking to know, Cutter? Okay, nothing actually. There were no new options there, really. I know about the bounties too. What is the building behind? What is the building there behind you? He tosses a glance over his shoulder. That's the Office of Vermin and Disease Control, Cutter. I sell my rat tails there for jink, then cook the little blighters up and sell them. Okay, so someone pays for the tails of those rats. That's right, Cutter. There's a Burke in the Office of Vermin and Disease Control named Morte who pays a bounty on him. A copper a death. Tail it is, eh? But they gotta be brain vermin, they do. Not just ordinary rats. Okay, tell me more about this Lord fellow. I will see him shortly, but tell me more about him anyway. His name's Phineas. Phineas Lord. Think he was some sort of high-up. He was put down by his rivals and stuck here in the arse and the sigil. The Burg sits in there alone all the night and day, it seems, waiting for folk to bring in tales and paying them the bounty. You know the best part. Poor sod must be allergic to rats, cause he's always got a huge rash going. Ho ho! Powers be praised, I ain't that fella. Huh. Put down by his rivals. Okay, any idea why that would happen? Well, he's right chatty, he is. He'll rattle his bone box for hours on just how smart he is and the like. May have that got something to do with it? He shrugs. Another question then. He shoulders his rat pole casually. What's your question, Cutter? Tell me about the Lady of Pain. I'm just fascinated by this figure and nobody seems to be able to tell me what she is exactly. Aye, the Mistress of Sigil. I don't talk about the Lady, Cutter. And you shouldn't go asking about her neither. It'll bring ill luck on you, it will. He makes a semicircular sign over his chest. Something else then? You know someone named Farad? He looks a bit surprised. Farad? Why'd a Cutter be looking for a man like that? It's a long story. I just need to find him. Just trust me, bro. He's the head of a pack of collectors. He is. Moves about all the time, probably to avoid trouble. Goes someplace in Rackpicker Square his case, or most likely. He's a right crafty fellow, the Farad. A Cutter'd best watch himself around that fellow. Man, I love the way this guy speaks. I know both of those things. I guess I won't ask him anything else. Thanks for the information. Farewell. He touches your arm. I see you're leaving, Cutter. Out of four you go. What's you like a nice, delicious ratsy? One for the road, you might say. Why not, I suppose? It's free, so... Good, Cutter, good. What sort would you like? He points to each in turn with a grimy fingernail. I got 'em baked, spiced, boiled, and charred. All fresh, all scrumptious, and only 3 coppers for 2. Scrumptious. Well, I mean, if it has to be one of those, then probably spiced to kill the aftertaste. You hand over your coppers, and in one swift motion he runs a pair of spiced rats through with a wooden skewer, unhooks them and places them in your hand. He winks at you. Enjoy, Cutter. Okay, do I have to eat this thing right now? I was gonna take it with me, you know? Do I have to eat this right now? YOLO. Let's do it. Eat the ratsy. The rat meat is aromatic and quite spicy, apparently marinated in some sort of herbal mixture before being cooked. It is a bit greasy and rather rich, tasting of some other meat you're sure you've had before. The man looks at you expectantly. Did you like? Wouldst you like another? Other meat. God, I hope he isn't feeding me humans. I really hope he isn't. It was good, but I have a question. My question is, what was that meat? But that question is not on the list, so nothing. Farewell. Oh, he's gonna try and do that again. No thanks. This time, farewell. We're good. Alright, and that's it for today's episode. Let's just quickly check our journal if there's anything I want to read here. Cranium rat. Individually, cranium rats are little more than your ordinary garbage rats with a slight addition of pulsing, exposed brains in their skulls. Kit them in a group though, and they become much more dangerous. Their proximity to other cranium rats creates a hive mind that grows more powerful with the addition of every rat. Their intelligence can rapidly increase to godlike levels. Godlike levels, really. And they gain spells and other fearsome mental abilities. and it's only by slaying numerous individual rats that you can weaken the hive mind. Best to avoid them if at all possible. These sound pretty cool. These are actually really interesting enemies now that I think about them. Up until now I was kind of just like glossing over that, but that's a really neat idea to have enemies like that. It kind of reminds me of maybe the Geth from Mass Effect. Right. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.